Okay, we are live. What is up, everybody? Nerdporeal Lifeform here, or my friends call me Brian. I'm here to basically do a live stream with real people for once. So, welcome. Thanks for coming by. And today I wanted to, meet and greet a lot of my subscribers and followers. So, welcome everyone. Punk Waddle, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Me? Oh, been
Yeah.
up since 3 a.m. So trying to get some stuff done. So you guys excited for the new Dune movie that's coming out?
I mean, it's it sounds like it could be really good, but I always worry a little bit.
Yeah, I saw a couple of reviews myself, and I mean, there's that one GameSpot one that talks about being a particular complexion savior. Which I think is like, okay, there's nothing wrong with being a hero, being a messiah, being a savior. It's one of the most classic storytelling techniques of human history. So, but before I go any further, what's up, Jake D? How you doing?
We're swell, man. How are y'all doing?
Well, everyone's doing okay. And we have Eddie here. How you doing, Eddie? How's your day been so far?
How are you, Brian? I'm great. Thank you very much.
So let's begin. I was thinking of some topics to talk about. So I was just wondering how you guys all kind of found, the different, communities, or I'll go with fellowships. That's what I prefer. That's what I agree with Neurotic. I prefer to call it fellowship over community. So how did you guys find, these various channels and stuff? Let's start with Punk Waddle.
Well, like I was telling you backstage, for the last 8 or so years, I just traveled for work doing EPA regulatory stuff for natural gas. So I lived in hotels. I streamed, or I watched anime and just whatever I could get my hands on, because when you're jumping around from town to town, you just kind of don't connect to anything. But I lost my job back in January. So I really had used YouTube just for some of the Gundam channels and review channels. And I guess I had kind of caught on to the quartering and some of that. And then that led me down the path to the Nerdrotics and the Geeks and Gamers. And I think the first live Geeks and Gamers stream I caught on was right at the tail end of the whole Snyderverse debacle. So I kind of saw them all grumpy on stream, but I guess I hung out to see what they were all about after that.
Oh, cool. So what particular Gundam shows do you like?
Oh, well, so I really into the Gunpla, the models.
Oh, so yeah, that's correct.
That got me down the path of catching up on actually all the shows. There's some channels like Zaku Aurelius and a few other, and I just realized, going down the rabbit hole from this fellowship, the Brightest Day is also into Gundam. So
oh yeah, he builds Gunpla himself. So yeah, right now I think he's at Dragon Con. He's putting all of his efforts into Battlestar Galactica. That's his franchise.
Yeah, when I wasn't traveling, I just come home and build models, and I've got about 70 or so little HGs and a couple master grades staring right back at me in my little room here.
Oh, that's cool. I love that. I'd love to see it sometime.
Work on that.
So let's go to Jake D. What's up, Jake D?
Not much, man. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. So I just wanted to now it's your turn. How'd you find me? How'd you find this fellowship?
Kind of inadvertently through Star Wars Theory.
Really?
Yeah, I used to, I still do. I watch a lot of his lore videos, and so I followed him. Uh, and when that thing happened with him and the Lucasfilm employee over the Mandalorian season 2 finale, and he showed up on Echo Base Network, I started following them pretty regularly. And then I started talking to you in their chat and ended up over here. So that's kind of how I got plugged in.
And you've been here ever since. That's
Yep.
awesome. Okay. And now Austin.
Well, hello. It's hard to remember how I got over here sometimes. But
Probably because I
bel-
talked to you during Friday Night Tights, probably.
Well, I know why I got here. I'm just trying to think of how I got into. I think it was because I have much more background in video games. So I believe I stumbled across Upper Echelon Gaming, and I can't remember what it was that brought me over there. It was some sort of controversy. And then once I started watching his videos, it started suggesting me quartering videos. And then I believe like mid-year 2020 is when I got suggested a Nerdrotic video. And then I got introduced to the beautiful world of Friday Night Tights. And I became a member from for Gary when he was talking about a member stream, and I thought that was cool. And then me and you were in a member stream together, and I thought, well, this guy has some dulcet tones, and it sounds pretty cool, so I'll go and follow him.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. And Eddie, what brings you here?
Well, basically, I mean, actually, you found me,
Yeah, that's true.
but I don't I don't even not know how, but
Probably through the Star Wars guys, Echo Base Network. That's the nice little, a nice little close knit of followers and stuff, or close little knit community, that they've built and stuff. And I'll be honest, I kind of want to emulate what Echo Base Network does. I want to be as I don't want to say I want to be as what's a good word? Interactive with subscribers and members and stuff. Keep people involved and stuff.
yeah, I feel the exact same way. Like, I mean, it's a wonderful concept that you can actually bring like your own subscribers to watch and see like yeah, like your world of what your take is on each and every one of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. So for me, there was a moment where 2018 started. Last Jedi came out around that December 2017, and I lost my job at the same time. So that wasn't quite a great time. So I was unemployed for a while. I had nothing to do, so I just started watching YouTube, and I just wanted to start connecting because I've been a fan of Star Trek. I've been a fan of Nintendo stuff. I've been a fan of anime, a lot of stuff for several years. So, and I've only had a couple of friends to really connect to. I mean, I'm the type of person that, I've been to several conventions, and I'm just the type of person I'm kind of awkward with crowds. I say awkward things and stuff. The ADD will do that to me. So I went on YouTube. I always thought YouTube was just for idiots this whole time, ever since I was in college in the mid aughts and stuff, because it was full of people that I couldn't really take seriously. But then I started watching. Then I started finding, I found Anti-Trucker because I wanted to connect with other people that were into Star Trek, and I found other YouTubers like RGT85 that talks about primarily video games. Really big Nintendo fan. Nintendo's the very first thing I was ever a fan of.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to connect with other Star Trek fans and other fans of pop culture and stuff. And at the same time, Game of Thrones season 7 was already done and stuff. So I started between that and Star Trek coming back and the Orville starting its run and stuff. I started watching Anti-Trucker, and then through him I found Nerdrotic. So I started listening to Nerdrotic, and one thing I noticed, he was very critical of Star Trek Discovery, but he was very positive about the Orville. So, and which was funny was back then, I was kind of okay with Discovery at the time. I was willing to accept that it was different. And there were a few episodes of the Orville I just really didn't like from season 1. But then let's go a year later. Season 2 of Discovery came out. That finale for season 2 just completely destroyed the canon for me, to the point where because it takes place 10 years before the original Star Trek series, and they added all these robots, all these droids from Star Wars. They added all these ships, and this is basically just 2 starships fighting, and they have all these little ships and all these little probes and all these little robots that are attacking each other. I'm like, what the hell is this? The original series didn't have anything like this. If you're going to make something during the original series, you have to put in the work to understand what was in the original series. If you want to do something new and different, go further into the future and start a century later, and that will won't break verisimilitude. So I saw that, and then and and at the same time I watched the Orville, and the Orville got way better with the Identity Parts 1 and 2 episode, which is like to me a combination of the Next Generation Borg 2-part Best of Both Worlds and the battle the battle episode from Deep Space Nine season 6. So I started watching, and Nerdrotic had the same opinion I did about that. And then shortly after that, Game of Thrones season 8 started. And we all know how Game of Thrones season 8 was. It was awful, so, especially starting with, in my opinion, episode 3. So that's kind of how, and then after, watching every week, right after the show, that's kind of when I subscribed to him and just started, following him and, other people, some other channels that followed him too. So that's where I started.
Although I've never seen the Game of Thrones.
Don't. You'll be wasting your time. I mean, it's a great. I can't
watch it anyway. So
yeah, the first 4 seasons are great because they're based off of the source material themselves.
Yeah.
But the last, they took 2 books 4 and 5, which was originally supposed to be 1 book. It was split into 2, divided by different characters in different regions in the world. And they took that and they only made it 1 season. That was season 5. And then they took some elements of it, sprinkled some elements of it into season 6. And then the rest of it was based off of basically outside the source material, basically on conversations they had with George R.R. Martin, the author of the book series. So, but yeah, that's basically what happened. And they just kind of, they ran out of ideas, and they just started repeating quotes from earlier seasons and stuff. So, and they made the characters stupid as a result. So
yeah, my journey with YouTube has been a rather long one. I've been floating around since 2010, and like I think the very first one was a guy called like he's a three syllable name. I think his name is Sean McMahon Miller or something like that. I don't know whether you heard the name, but anyway, then I kind of moved on to various others until I found Tyrone Magnus, which I'm sure.
Okay, I know him.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen him on the Geeks and Gamers, the charity stream with for suicide prevention. But I've been following him an awful long time, especially when I was between the stages of where his ex and his mother died, and then there was a lot of things happening between his mother dying, his ex going away, and then his dog passing as well. And then I moved on to Star Wars theory. And then I kind of branched out from there. It was then I found Real Rejects, New Rockstars, a lot of things like that. I was big into like yourself, I'm big into movies, sci-fi. It doesn't matter if it's sci-fi, action, romance, western, anything like that. Any genre that I would particularly go into, I'd say if it looks good, I'll see it. It's that simple. But I then Jordan the Hidalgo incident that we all know about. I've been with Echo Base Network ever since, and then I found Geeks and Gamers, and until ultimately the Star Wars guys, Matt Cave, yourself, and various others.
Okay, I've listened to Star Wars Theory for a little bit. I mean, he's got a great, and I'm sure everyone here has seen his Darth Vader, his first Darth Vader fan film they made. Well, the first episode of it, I thought that was brilliant, and I think this is a perfect segue to talk about Star Wars. Just talk about I'm sure all of you guys have seen Star Wars, and I think Star Wars was one of the things that brought a lot of communities, and or in my case fellowship, together and stuff. So I was just wondering how you guys got into it, what it means to you, if you're even into it. If you're not, you can say what you are into. And let's start with Punk Waddle if you're there.
Okay, yeah. So as far as Star Wars goes, basically growing up, the first trilogy we had on VHS. So a lot of times when we were, cutting hair or just doing stuff, we watched the VHSs all the time. So 4, 5, and 6 were just ingrained into me, and my dad loved them, and my brother loved them, and so it was just it was that. And side note, it was also the Indiana Jones film VHSs that we pretty much watched all the time. So then
we only owned Raiders of the Lost Ark, or we actually owned we bought Raiders of the Lost Ark. My dad taped Temple of Doom on HBO, so that's how I watched Temple of Doom, and then I don't think we ever owned Last Crusade. I actually remember seeing Last Crusade in the theaters. I think I was really young. I was like 4 or 5.
On a side note, they did. I looked it up a while ago. I think it was early '90s, but they had a promotion at McDonald's for a month or two, or like a couple months, where they would give away or include one of the Indiana Jones films with your meal or a slightly extra cost. So my dad was like, "We're getting those before they run out."
Really? I don't remember that. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I can look it up. Like I said, I looked it up in the chat recently. So, but yeah, when the prequels came out, I mean, I thought the little young Anakin was a little bit whiny, but at the same time, getting to see back when the CGI was getting good enough to really have cool lightsaber duels and watching Yoda spin around, and I know some people would rather have him just as a puppet, but it was neat to see that being used in a way that showed off the characters. I
gotta tell you, and I'm sure I've told everyone this, and I've probably said this on my streams multiple times, but like I was like, when you see like, you know, they both lose to Dooku in episode 2, I was like, I was 17 at the time, so I've seen the original trilogy I saw the original trilogy when I was like 9 or 10. So this was like mid 90s. So the original trilogy was my first. But when I saw the episode 2 and Yoda comes up right after they both lose to Dooku and stuff, and they're like, you know, he's shooting lightning at Yoda and stuff. I was thinking, are we really gonna see this? Are we gonna really see him with a lightsaber? Are we gonna see Yoda, Master Yoda, the puppet, with a lightsaber? And then when we saw it, I just started clapping. I started clapping, and the whole theater started clapping and laughing at the same time. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go back to your story.
No, that's exactly the same. I got chills. I was like, it's about damn time. Like this is what I've been waiting to see. It was really, really fun. Once again, I was, you know, because like we said, we're about the same age. So I was in the theater with my family watching it and some friends, and sharing the love of the Star Wars and the fans. It was a really fun experience, and also they were pretty good movies.
You're talking about the prequels? Yeah. I agree. I know some people in the chat are saying they're not great, but hey, I respect your opinion.
They were. I mean, it was
I
one of those
things. Too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Another side note is like when I forget what it was, where the first teaser trailer for the Lord of the Rings, I was watching I think it was a Star Wars movie, right? And I was sitting there with my family, and my mom got so excited, and she like tapped me hard on the shoulder, which scared the crap out of me. So I think I pinched her back, which she was not happy with. But when we saw that teaser trailer for the Lord of the Rings, because we grew up with that reading those books as kids too. So like all this, like I said, it's half the movies and it's half the nostalgia and the experience itself, which I know Odin likes to talk about, you know, the difference between being objective and subjective. But for me, those kind of sit in a special place.
Yeah, I didn't know about Lord of the Rings until I was roughly like, you know, I used to go to church quite a bit, and people in my church used to they're all of them were voracious readers. My parents, my family, none of us were voracious readers. So my parents didn't know about Lord of the Rings. So I learned about The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings through my church, and when I was a teenager, you know, I was doing like a Bible Bowl. I was doing like a Bible Bowl tournament for like the Eastern Orthodox Archdiocese or something. And on the trips, you know, I was around the other fellow parishioners and stuff. And I just started reading The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings at that time. This was literally summer of 2000. So this is like a little under a year and a half before, you know, the first, you know, Fellowship of the Ring came out. So it was just very interesting, you know, reading those and then seeing the movie shortly after. But since we're talking about Star Wars, I'll go back to Star Wars, and let's go to Jake D now, if you're there.
Yeah.
So Jake D, how'd you are you into Star Wars? Did you ever get into Star Wars, or how'd you get into it? What do you like about it? You know, was it mean to you?
I'm a little bit younger than y'all, so I kind of
That's fine.
grew up
That's
on
fine.
the on the new on the prequel trilogy. Really, that was like my first cinema experience with it.
Well, same here. I mean, I was the original trilogy came out before I was born.
Gotcha. I was I think what I liked most about was just figuring out how big the universe was. When I got into the EU, KOTOR was something I really enjoyed. Just kind of figuring out the history of the galaxy and things like that.
I love those games. That's part of the second Xbox game I ever wrote. That's part of the reason why I bought the Xbox in the first place, besides Halo. Jake?
Yeah,
You
sorry.
there?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the next one, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jake. Austin? If you're there?
Yeah, so I guess I don't remember how I got into Star Wars, really. It's a theme. I have a bad memory.
That's all right.
I know that because I was actually born, I believe. Hold on. When the first prequel came out, I was 2. So.
Oh. Okay.
I remember that because one of my earliest memories of Star Wars is being babysat while my mom and dad went to watch the third one.
Revenge of the Sith? Cool.
Yeah. But so I remember later on, because I didn't see them for a while, I just thought it was cool. Because, I mean, Star Wars was so big, it was, I knew all about lightsabers and the Force before I'd even watched a movie, because, everyone talks about it. Maybe not as much now that the Disney stuff has come out, but, in elementary school, everyone's like, oh, cool, lightsabers. And eventually, I believe I got all 6 of the CDs on potentially not back when burning CDs was big, not necessarily legal copies.
I'm surprised you know what burning CDs are.
Yep, that's how I got all the Star Wars.
Ah, cool.
So I remember just having the discs and watching them all and thinking, hey, this is pretty cool. I did watch them 1 through 6 that time. I didn't understand that I wasn't supposed to do that. Now I know better.
To watch them in chronological order, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I watched them like prequels first. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah, I would not recommend. Yeah, I would not recommend that. My choice would be the original Star Wars, and then Phantom Menace, then Attack of the Clones, then Empire, then Revenge of the Sith, and then Return of the Jedi. In my opinion, some people like skip Episode 1 altogether.
Yeah, I was but a child. I didn't know better, and my parents knew better, but they didn't know I was doing that. I was just watching. Yeah. So that's how I got into all of it. And there was, of course, the games. I love video games. Battlefront 2 was an absolute triumph, as they say.
The PlayStation, the PS2, Battlefront 2.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing but good things about that. Like everyone I know that big Star Wars fan has played those. I myself have not played those. So
it was one of the best games. I have it on my Xbox, my Xbox One, but I haven't played it yet. I'll have to see how it holds up. But I remember that was one of the best games period to play growing up.
Have you played the latest one, Jedi Fallen Order? I actually played that one
Yes,
recently.
I really like that one. I don't know if I'm
Like,
just but I don't know if it's because one of the things is I had such low expectations for that because of EA and what they've done with all the games so far, and the fact that they made a multiplayer. They took a I forget who developed it, but it was a studio that specialized in like multiplayer games, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why
That
would
was
they do that?
Dice.
Oh, Dice. Yeah.
Okay. So I
Oh,
cat appearance.
pets,
But
I swear.
What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
I'm good. Although I'm not feeling all that super good today. So, Eddie, it's been a little while. How have you been, buddy?
oh, good. How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead and let Eddie go first, and then I'll come back. I gotta go throttle a cat for trying to rip up my new shirt. So I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So before we go any further, all right, Jake D. Thanks for popping on. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to promote or say goodbye and stuff? Okay, he's not there. All right. So all right, Eddie, let's go to you. How'd you get into that good old thing called Star Wars?
Well, I mean, I would say better than good, but anyway, it was basically my father brought in a VHS. And for those that don't know, they're basically video cassettes of the old Star Wars, and it was like I got my first introduction to them at an early age, and I was born in '79, so it was it was basically a time where, I mean, it was just like at that stage there was a lot of horror movies, there was a lot of action movies, which I was huge in back in those times. And then I saw the great Star Wars, like basically the best one, Empire Strikes Back. Um, like I was introduced to that one, as opposed to the New Hope. And what a time to become a Star Wars fan when you have like the very best one there ever was, in my opinion. I don't know what the rest of you think, but I mean, like certainly the like the Empire Strikes Back was whatever they like the two, like my father, Lord rest him, and me, like we're just sitting back and just in awe. Like
Yeah, the movie is amazing. Empire Strikes Back is amazing.
yeah,
It's like it's one of the few movies where you really want to see what happens next. I mean, and I say it in my Star Wars video, it's the ultimate cliffhanger.
yeah.
So, in my opinion, and then had to wait 3 years, 3 whole years before you found out what happens to how they rescue Han, how they rescue Han, how they get back on their feet and stuff, how they defeat the Empire. So
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, so many things happened in the return of the Jedi. Like, I mean, it was just like I went from one like the Jabba's palace. I went from like so many things, and then it went from that to Yoda dying, and like where he would find out about his sister,
Spoiler alerts.
and sorry if you haven't seen it.
I have some opinions on that. Even when I was a kid, when I saw Star Wars, yeah, even when I was a kid, I still don't believe Leia is Luke's sister. I could see her being the other, Jedi that would, would succeed Luke if he died and stuff, which is what Empire was setting up. But then, them saying that she's his sister, like, come on, no. The other movies don't really support it that well. I mean, at least I don't think it does. At least I don't think it does, in my opinion. So, but her being force sensitive, I can definitely see.
We'll digress on that one.
So, what about you, Brandon?
Well, first of all, it's good to be here. I'm not feeling super great this morning, and I still got a lot of crap I got to do, and my stupid computer is being stupid. But as far as for me, for Star Wars, the first one I remember seeing was Empire Strikes Back. And I remember seeing it on TV back in the day when, the main broadcast networks would have a Sunday night movie of the week. And there for a while, or for 3 weeks in a row, NBC did all three of them. But I didn't catch the first one. I did catch the second one, and I did catch Return of the Jedi, and we recorded them onto VHS. Now, for you youngins out there, VHS is a cassette tape that you used to use to record linear broadcasts with.
When do you remember when that broadcast was? Because I remember that too.
Late 80s.
Was it late 80s? Okay.
Yeah, from what I recall. I want to say somewhere in like 88, 89, right in that area.
Okay, because I remember my parents rented the original film, and then we saw. Then I remember Empire and Jedi were broadcast, and that's how I saw. That's how I originally saw them. Now I was really young, so I didn't understand what was going on. But my mom did tell me, Darth Vader is Luke's father. Spoiler alert. And so I knew about that before I really understood what the story of the original trilogy was. So
yeah, and from what I also remember, I never had the original movie, but the next door neighbor kid did, and that's how I watched or remember seeing the original, and they were all just so good, so fun. I didn't really get into Star Wars or really start to pick things up until they did the special editions and were released in the theaters. Because by that time, I was, 16, 17, 18. So I'm dating myself a little bit here compared to some of you younger guys. But I saw them. I saw the special editions in the theater, and I can tell you that for seeing Star Wars in the theater, even with it being the special edition, with all the little extra things that Lucas added, some of it good, some of it, smack him upside the head and ask him what was he thinking. Seeing the Death Star explode, it brought everybody up and cheering in the theater seats, and that's one of those things about great epic movies. They have that ability to get everybody in the theater to have that same kind of reaction at the same time.
Yeah, because it was very well built up, like that whole that just from the music, which they obviously ripped from a classical suite called The Planets. It was the Mars, the warlike segment. That's kind of where they get the bum 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 bum, that part. So, but yeah, that was all built up. Music, tone, just everything was just freaking crazy. And that's, I mean, that's why original, and this is my opinion, original is my favorite.
Yeah. Now, to expand upon that, being at the age that I am, the prequel trilogy came out right after I graduated high school. So I was working, hadn't started going to school yet, but I had money And I remember seeing The Phantom Menace that very first showing at midnight, and that was a lot of fun. And I did that for all three of the movies, even though, if I had to choose on the three prequel trilogies, the Revenge of the Sith is the best. That is not an
hands
argument.
down.
It's hands down the best. But I really, really like The Phantom Menace, and I've seen it the most. Reason, saw it in the theater first. Was the first, I had the VHS special edition box set, widescreen format, with a tabletop book and a film cell. It was a collector's box. At that time when they released it, George Lucas was very hesitant to put anything out on DVD, and he basically had to have his ass kicked in order to make it happen. So the fact that we did get the DVDs at all is a minor miracle because of how resistant he was to it. I don't know why, but he was. So
because I remember they came out DVDs themselves came out in '98, I believe, and the original trilogy was finally released in 2004. So that was my first, or I think it was my first or second year of college. Depends on how late in 2004 that was.
Yeah,
I remember buying them, and this was my first time seeing the special editions because, well, when it gets to me, I'll talk about how I got into Star Wars. I didn't see the special editions in theaters because I bought the reissued VHS tapes in the mid '90s, literally '95. So this is like a year and a half before they came out with the new or Star Wars's 20th anniversary special edition stuff. So
but yeah, Phantom Menace is the one out of the first three. It's the one that I've seen the most, and out of all of them, if I was going to go back to him now and watch him, I would watch the Phantom Menace, even though Darth Jar Jar is annoying as hell.
Excuse me?
Yeah, excuse me is right.
That's the thing. That is the thing.
But that back in that time, I was working in a home theater shop, so I had the movies and I brought them in for demonstrating basically all of our sound systems, all of our displays at the time, at how good they could be. And that was one of the movies that was continually playing, along with like Terminator 2 and some other of the fun films that are out there. But I just wanted to stop by, say hi, and I got to get myself ready, and I gotta go to service. So I'm gonna say thank you, and thank you all for showing up at various times. And I see everybody in the chat, and I want to say hello to Bone in the Matt Cave and Time Prophet and everybody else. And I'm out.
I appreciate you coming. Thanks, Brandon.
You're
Take
so
care.
welcome, Brian. We'll talk to you later.
See you later, Brandon.
See ya.
And now we have Chris. Welcome, Chris. How you doing?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm good, and you?
I'm pretty good. We're talking about this property. It's a very, property not a lot of people know about. It's called Star Wars. And just wanted to know,
Is that movie series with the space wizards for children?
And laser swords and
laser swords.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, actually, I think you do like Star Wars. So we're just asking. I'm just trying to go around everybody asking, how they got into Star Wars. What it means to you, your favorite parts of it and stuff. And go on, Chris.
I first was introduced to Star Wars from my aunt and uncle. It was mid '90s or so, and so my parents just got recently divorced, and it was the first time that we were going to do separate Christmases, and so my dad took me and my siblings over to my aunt's house, and while there they had 2 cassette tapes that the RCA tapes, they record from whatever you see on TV, and they had the first Star Wars movie and Empire Strikes Back, and so they played those for me, and they let me have them, and so I still have them today. And that was when I first got introduced to Star Wars. Unfortunately I never saw Return of the Jedi until after I saw the first two prequel movies. Kind of saw bits and parts of it when we did a family trip down to the St. Louis Zoo. It was we took a bus ride there, and it was playing on the bus ride. But yeah, I didn't see them until after the until the first two prequels came out, and they were just talking about the Revenge of the Sith. So
Mhm.
that's where I started, and then for me it didn't really take hold as a passion for me until I started getting into the EU, and my first EU novel was. Well, I mean, I was a fan in that all. I loved the movies. I loved Luke Skywalker, all that stuff. But it didn't really become a passion until the EU. And my first EU novel was Timothy Zahn's Survivor's Quest, which was about the survivors of a expedition to journey outside of the Star Wars galaxy to venture into another Star Wars galaxy, and the ship crash landed somewhere within the unknown regions of the Star Wars galaxy and was found. And so Luke and his wife, Mara Jade Skywalker, joined a group of aliens known as the Chiss to try and recover what's left of the survivors that have been there since before the outbreak of the Clone Wars. The ship crash landed on the planetoid somewhere between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. So
Okay.
and from there, just more and more books, more and more novels.
So when was that book, that Timothy Zahn book that you mentioned, take place? Because you said Luke and Mara Jade. This is much later than the Thrawn trilogy.
Yes, yeah, it is after the Thrawn trilogy. It takes place. It's actually the first book right. It's the first book right before the Yuzan Vong invasion.
Oh, okay.
So you have Survivor's Quest, and then you have the Yuzan Vong invasion.
Okay. I've only heard about those. I've read a little bit on the wikis about them, but I definitely want to get into those at some point.
I definitely
so much material.
There is a lot there. There is a lot, and there's a lot that complements the Star Wars universe in them. And there is some minor contradictions, but for the most part, it's a lot of retcons and a lot of stuff that fans have just accepted, and they like I said, it's mostly just retcons. So, like, for example, Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire trilogy kind of talked about the Clone Wars before there was the Clone Wars, which was a big no-no by George Lucas. He told everyone, you can go ahead and write whatever you want after Return of the Jedi, but leave before A New Hope, leave before New Hope to me. Timothy Zahn did not listen. He did dabble a little bit in the Clone Wars era, but fans and also later additions to the EU have just retconned that mentioning out, or just kind of reinterpret it.
You're talking about they talk about the Clone Wars and the Thrawn trilogy, right?
Yes.
Especially with the character. Now, I haven't finished it. I've only read the Heir to the Empire, but with the character of Sabayoth.
George Sabayoth,
the Jedi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The mad Jedi. Well, I mean, there is a part in the novel where they realize, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't read this, but Thrawn is growing a clone army to man warships that he captured. And Mara Jade finds out about this, and she's like, "That's horrible. No one trusts clones since the Clone Wars when they attacked the Republic." It's like, well, you see, the clones didn't attack the Republic; they were actually fighting for the Republic.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So there, but I mean, for the most part, the EU has a lot of great material, and I love how it feels like another universe. It feels like another galaxy. It feels like another culture.
It feels like
From
the next proper step after the
yes,
original trilogy, which is
yes,
something I feel is which is something a lot of people feel is lacking in the stuff that Disney has been producing. So
yeah. Sadly, Disney's is a little too grounded in in our universe, with them using term like beer or dogs, cats. In Star Wars, they didn't use those terms. They used ale or spice or canine, feline, stuff like that.
in other words, lack of creativity in
Yeah,
dialogue and writing and stuff.
yeah.
So all right, well, cool. Thanks, Chris. Um, just going to talk about how I got into Star Wars now. If you guys haven't seen my original trilogy video, so basically I started watching Star Wars. Well, I remember my parents first rented Star Wars probably late 80s, maybe early 90s. I don't remember exactly when. I remember I was young. And I remember watching the first movie and I had no idea what was going on. Like I literally got the beginning of the movie mixed up. I thought Vader and the stormtroopers were in that little in the blockade runner instead of in the big Star Destroyer, because I thought they were being invaded. When I was younger, I thought they were being invaded. I didn't know anything about like tractor beams or whatnot. So, but even seeing Vader, I knew right away he was the villain. And I thought he was called Dark Vader. I'll be honest. I thought he was called Dark Vader. So I watched that, and I realized, or my folks told me, that the movie doesn't really end. Like there's if there's a direct follow up. There's a part 2 and a part 3. I was like, really? So I remember part 2 and part 3 were Empire and Jedi were both broadcast on NBC. And I remember seeing both of them. I remember the second movie, they were on ice. They were somewhere on an ice base. And I remember Jedi where there were there was these little teddy bears running around and they're in the forest. And then Vader takes off his mask. And then my mom tells me that Vader is Luke's father and stuff. And so all that kind of flew past me at that age. So I just went back to playing, Nintendo, because Nintendo was the thing that I was a big fan of when I was, from the time, as early as 5 years old and stuff. So it wasn't really until I, started reaching adolescence, like roughly around the time I turned 11, that I saw the VHSs, the reissued VHSs from 1995 at the Suncoast Video Store at one of the malls in Chicago. And I remember my dad ran Return of the Jedi like a few weeks before that, and I actually really liked it. I kind of wanted, I was interested, I was actually, piqued my interest in seeing the rest of the movies. And so we were at the store, and they had all the tapes, either individually or in a 3-tape box set on like its own little shelf. And I saw that, and I asked my dad, hey, can we get this? And he's like, we can only get one tape. And so I was like, well, let's get the purple one. And that was the Empire Strikes Back. It's one of the big. You see the AT-ATs in the background on Hoth, and then you see a big picture of a stormtrooper. And I watched that, and I was like, whoa! I was like, holy crap! I didn't realize that we find out Vader's Luke's father until Empire. I didn't realize he fights Vader with the lightsaber in Empire either. So I mean, I was blown away. And then I saw the original Star Wars, and I re-rented the original Star Wars because I saw Empire, and I saw Jedi, so I watched Star Wars, and I was just like, the fact that I knew that Obi-Wan was going to die, I was just like, how is he going to die? I'm like, I was like nervous. I'm like, how is he going to die and stuff? And then you watch the fight, and it's very different. The choreography is totally different and stuff. And I was like, really, this is all Vader can do? That was my initial impression. So. And then we finally see, the trench run and all that at the end of the movie. and I actually was able to follow. I actually was able to follow what was going on, and I was scared the whole time because you see the pilots, you see their faces, and you see them scream as they die, and that always, something. Even though Jedi came out, even though I saw Jedi first, Jedi didn't really have that effect on me that the original movie had. You see the pilots, and they're systematically being shot down by Vader, and they're screaming as they die. I remember Porkins dying. Now everybody probably laughs at it. Porkins is a meme now, but I remember seeing that. I was like, whoa. I was new to people on screen. I was kind of sensitive to people dying on screen and stuff. So, and then years later I saw Gundam, but that's a story for another day. So I saw that, and then it just all built up to that, Death Star exploding. I was like, whoa, this is great. And then N64 came out, Shadows of the Empire, which was, a project that takes place in between episodes 4 and 5, or not 4 and 5, episodes 5 and 6, Empire and Jedi. I played that game. I thought that game was amazing. It was the second 3D game I've ever played, after, Mario 64. And then shortly after that, the prequels came out, and I saw the prequels. I remember I was on my 8th grade graduation trip. We went to Springfield, and one of the chaperones took us to see Star Wars because he was a big Star Wars fan. And so a few of us, only me and 3 other guys, went, and we saw it, and we were like, we got out of the theater, and we was like, whoa, this was freaking cool. Like I left the theater with a big smile on my face. I mean, seeing the Darth Maul fight, seeing the pod race, seeing the new visual effects, I thought was really cool. And seeing the Jedi on seeing Coruscant was awesome. I mean, I know there's just a lot of Blade Runner elements in like Blade Runner without the rain, the city planet, the whole city planet, but I thought that seeing the Senate chamber, I mean, the design of the movie was, I thought the designs were pretty cool. Everything was, epic in scope and everything. And I love Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, and Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. And it was cool seeing, other characters like Yoda, and of course the Jedi Council and Palpatine. I didn't realize it until they said Senator Palpatine. I'm like, wait a minute. If I didn't read the EU novels, I would not have known that Palpatine was the Emperor, because they never called him Palpatine in the original trilogy. So, years go by. By the time Revenge of the Sith came out, I was finishing my second year in college, and that movie just completely blew me away, like episode 1 did. Episode 2 was cool, like I said earlier, but I fell asleep during parts of it, especially during the Naboo stuff, because Anakin and Padme, was kind of dull. But then I saw Revenge of the Sith. I actually felt so bad at the end of the movie. I got a little sick after I called in sick to work, because it came out during the summer. I called in sick, and because it was just so emotionally heartbreaking, seeing it. But I just loved the ending. To me, it didn't do. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the prequels for lots of reasons, but one thing I could say about the prequels, it didn't hurt in my opinion, I don't think that it hurt the original trilogy. It gave the original trilogy a new type of context. So it made me appreciate the originals even more. And then, then you had the KOTOR games, and then the Clone Wars series. My friend who got me into Gundam also got me into the Clone Wars and stuff. And I watched those until Disney bought it out, and then then Disney took over, and the quality just started to drop. Rebels was a step down from the Clone Wars, and then the sequel trilogy in general. The movies, the Star Wars movies done by Disney, are a step down from anything Lucas. All the first 6 that Lucas made, and then any other content, in my opinion, is a step down. Anything Disney produced. I never thought I'd ever say this, but Star Wars has become boring. And I know a lot of people disagree with me. If you guys disagree with it, it's fine. But I feel The Mandalorian is boring too. So, and that's where I'm at right now.
There's definitely potential in the Mandalorian, but sadly, it's not taking the chances it needs to become a good Star Wars TV series like they want it to be.
I mean, I love Baby Yoda, and I
He's
love that
pretty-
ending with Luke and stuff. But like in terms of like villains and stuff, like I'm sorry, Moff Gideon, and the Moff Gideon was just a letdown. I mean, I love his actor, like Giancarlo Esposito. He plays freaking Gus Fring in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
I mean,
And he's one of the best. He plays one of my favorite villains of all time. Gus Fring is one of the best villains in my opinion of all time. And I just feel Moff Gideon he's a step down from Tarkin. I think Tarkin's a better villain. More sinister and more, feels like
Moff Gideon. Like I said, there's a lot in the Mandalorian that had potential, and the sad thing is that there's all these talks about how Mandalorian and the shows that are shooting off from the Mandalorian are gonna adopt the Thrawn trilogy, which is kind of sad because the Thrawn trilogy, it's not going to be the Thrawn trilogy. Despite what everyone is claiming it's going to be, it's not going to be the Thrawn trilogy because there's not going to be a Jorah Sabayoth, more than likely. Thrawn is not the Thrawn that is in the EU. He is instead going to be very much like he was in the Clone Wars or in the Rebels TV show.
Yep.
He's very much watered down in the Rebels TV show, and Luke is not going to be the sole Jedi that's going to be standing up against the Empire. They now have Ahsoka, who should have died a long time ago.
Fuck Ahsoka, dude.
She should have died a long time ago. She either
I hate her.
died. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
sup, Jace? How you doing?
Jace
doing
doesn't
good,
like
man.
the Clone Wars. Jace does not like the Clone Wars.
I like the Clone Wars from 2003 to 2004. That's the only Clone
the
Wars that
miniseries.
exists.
The miniseries.
Yeah, that's the only thing that exists. The other Clone Wars does not exist for me.
I didn't. I mean, I like both. I mean, I think the original 2003,
Just take
after
away
seeing it,
Ahsoka.
is
Fuck
the
Ahsoka.
better show in my opinion.
The
But I had
problem
no
is-
problem with. I didn't really have a problem with the 2008 series. I mean, Lucas was involved. He came up with a lot of story ideas, and then of course,
that's debatable.
I know how you guys feel. I know because there was a lot of canon that was broke, so I understand.
Not just because of what we feel, but a lot of things that
The
has happened behind the scenes
And
too.
also the people that tell us that Lucas was involved is mostly Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni has shown that he doesn't care about continuity when it comes to Star Wars. He will do what he
fuck
wants
Dave
to
Filoni.
do.
Fuck him, I hate him too.
And
Fucking
just like,
douche.
for example, introducing that that Anakin had an apprentice. Originally, the Clone Wars, as Lucas wanted, the Clone Wars wasn't even going to revolve around Obi-Wan and Anakin. It was going to revolve around another character called Ashla, which
Yep.
things changed, and then it turned out to be Anakin now has an apprentice, which defies a majority of what the previous EU had established, which was that Anakin was a Padawan to Obi-Wan for the first 2 years of the Clone Wars until roughly around the final year, in
Yep.
which case he was knighted, and we see his knighting in the Old Republic series, or in the Clone Wars miniseries.
Yeah, the original, you see that he graduated too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
and-
have the problem of Dave Filoni.
Messing up the canon really much with Ahsoka. She messes up so much of the fucking canon of all the fucking story to the
And-
prequel movies.
Dave Filoni has this hard-on to keep Ahsoka alive.
Oh yeah, he wants to F her.
That I know. I do know that I do. That's one thing I have noticed is that he likes to keep his characters. He likes to keep his characters alive. Hence, as going forward, I'm not confident that there's no stakes because of that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lucas wasn't afraid to kill people off. I mean, Lucas was planning to kill Ahsoka off.
Yeah, and
Like
that would have made
she-
more sense, a lot better sense either way. Even though I think that first time you see
Vader-
Ahsoka, when you first
Vader
see Ahsoka,
Vader should have killed Ahsoka off.
I agree with. I actually agree with you on that one.
That
would have been the end of her
the
arc.
poetic. That would have been the most poetic ending to her story.
Or just never make her in the first place, and I would be happy.
That too. But I mean, another thing that they mess with is that Dave Filoni ruined what the Mandalorians were.
Oh, yeah.
Because of what he did in the Clone Wars. And he took one of my favorite Clone Wars novel series was the Republic Commando series.
Yeah.
And in those, it has sprinkled throughout it, as well as other novels that this writer did that involved Mandalorians, backstory and history of the backstory and culture of and language of the Mandalorian people. And in it, Karen Traviss is the author, and she did a great job. She did some Halo novels as well.
Yeah,
she was a former journalist, battlefield journalist or something like that. So she has knowledge about how people are on the on actual battlefield. So she used that knowledge when she wrote Republic Commando. So like the jargon that the the clone soldiers use is very much accurate to similar to how our own real life soldiers actually speak and stuff. But in what she wrote, Mandalore wasn't a wasteland. It was actually a agricultural world. Most of the Mandalorian people that lived on Mandalore were farmers, unless they were called upon to be more. Basically, Mandalorian society was very much similar to Viking society. Instead of going to Viking, they went on bounty trips. They were bounty hunters.
It's a good way to explain it.
But and if they were living on Mandalore, they would be taking care of farms, fields. They would be building infrastructure around their homesteads to protect their home. But in the long run, what Dave Filoni did is that he completely destroyed that. He took that and he brushed it away when he started season 2 of the Clone Wars, and revamped it to where the Mandalorian people are now pacifists. They're now they now live in domed cities because Mandalore has been destroyed in the last Mandalorian Civil War. And even went as far as to say that Jango Fett was no longer a Mandalorian. Dave Filoni interview said, "Oh yeah, George wanted Jango Fett not to be a Mandalorian," which completely is what Dave Filoni says. And I've come to the point where I think that Dave Filoni is lying out of his ass.
So I got a question
a lot
for
of
you.
Things that he says.
I got a question. The whole Beskar steel thing, is that a Disney invented?
No, Beskar Garm, which is Mandalorian. Beskar, which is Mandalorian iron, was EU.
Okay, and that's why they were able to have that war with the Jedi during the Old Republic, and that's why they were able to fight them off. Okay, yes. I always wondered about that. So.
Because Mandalorian iron, Beskar, is made into various weapons. It's also made into Beskar Garm, which is a Mandalorian term for armor, Mandalorian armor, and this is stuff that this is something that Karen Traviss created in her stories that she wrote, and that you can tell the character of a Mandalorian is by the condition of his armor and by the color of his armor as well, because the armor's color represents what that Mandalorian believed and respected. And I need to look this up now because it's gonna bug me if I don't. So let me see here.
So okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check out Karen Travis's.
Yeah, so I mean, she did a lot of novels, and in fact, actually, one of her last novels was an attempt to try and integrate the 2008 Clone Wars series into the EU, but she'd stopped. But after that one of those final novels, and that novel, which I believe is Clone Wars, I think she did the Clone Wars novelization of the movie. And then after that, she worked on the Imperial Commando, which was a successor to the Republic Commando series. And then after that, she completely stopped because that was around the time that season 2 of Clone Wars came out. And when she saw what Dave Filoni did to the Mandalorians, how he took all the stuff that she added to the Clone Wars into the EU and basically just threw that out. And she basically says, "I'm done with Star Wars. I'm never coming back." And I even had a nice little short email exchange with her. I got to email her and I got to talk to her a little bit. And I asked her, "Would you be willing to come back to Star Wars at any point in time?" Because the new change to the canon. And she says, "No, I will never come back to it. I won't ever come back to Star Wars."
Yeah, probably not the best working environment. So,
well, especially now, but also because of how her work was treated when Dave Filoni took charge of the Clone Wars.
Yep.
Okay, let's move forward a little bit. So Jace, did you say how you got into Star Wars?
I've talked about it a lot on my streams and stuff, but
well, share with us.
Just gonna put out my cigarette. Star Wars have always been there in my whole life. My dad, he was a big Star Wars fan, and so it's like always been there. It's like never been a day without Star Wars, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I got to see everything from the original stuff, before the special editions and stuff like that. So my dad, he always wanted his son to like Star Wars, and he did a good job because cool. I became a Star Wars maniac, and he always says this to me, that he always regrets making me a Star Wars fan because I know so much more than him.
That's cool.
So Star Wars just became, a big part of my life, and 90% of my life, it's like I always been a Star Wars guy. That was like the biggest thing for me. It was like Star Wars and horror movies.
So what was was the original Star Wars the first Star Wars movie you seen, or did you see the prequel?
A New Hope, before it was A New Hope.
New Hope. It's funny. What's funny is even on VHS, they never called it A New Hope. It was always called called Star Wars. I mean, it still turned up. Like the first time you see A New Hope in the opening title crawl was the original VHS release, I think, or maybe I'm wrong, but it wasn't like that when it went in the theaters when it came out. It just said, is a time of civil war, blah 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 blah. So but yeah, that's cool, man.
So that was the first movie I saw, and also when I was small, my dad always had like Star Wars on TV, like the A New Hope and stuff like that. He always had those movies on TV. So even though I can't remember watching them, they were still on TV when I was, a child, like a really young child.
Did your dad like the prequels at all?
Oh yeah, he loves the prequels too. He loves them.
Okay.
He loves, dude. A lot of people hate Jar Jar Binks, but he loves Jar Jar Binks. He doesn't care about the hate. He loves Jar Jar Binks. He thinks Jar Jar Binks. Without Jar Jar Binks, the movies would have been a little bit boring.
Yeah, you saw big doo doo this time.
Yeah, and it's funny, dude. I love Jar Jar Binks myself. I love the prequels. I'm a prequel defender.
Yeah, I am too. Actually, I still prefer the originals, but I do like the prequels. Like, I can rewatch them. I can enjoy them, even episode 2.
Yeah, I like both at the same. There's like they're on the same for me.
Both prequels and the originals. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's like one of my favorite prequels are The Phantom Menace, because Qui-Gon Jinn and the story with everything there. I love it.
Yeah, people complain about I remember everyone was complaining about midichlorians, Jar Jar Binks.
I didn't mind those stuff at all.
The midichlorians. If people actually listened to what Qui-Gon is saying, he never said the midichlorians were the Force. He says
They're symbiotic.
They're symbiotic with us organisms, and they tell us what the Force is once. So how is that them being the Force?
Exactly, and I liked how it kind of got me excited. Like they were talking about like different power levels, like they were able to measure power levels and stuff, and that seemed to be the other gripe that I think a lot of people had. I thought it was pretty cool that they kind of knew, like they're like, ooh, this young child Anakin has a power has a count that surpasses Master Yoda.
I don't really view that as power level. I think it more so the ability to connect to the Force, to draw upon it.
So potential. So you're saying potential, basically?
Yes. I mean, an individual can still connect to the Force, but it would take training and meditation to grow that connection. But whereas Anakin, being the highest level, he can draw upon the Force much more easier than someone who has a average level. Because I mean, if power level was it, Anakin would have defeated Obi-Wan on their duel on Mustafar. And from what I can remember, in the EU, Obi-Wan was a relatively difficult individual when he was training as before he became a Padawan to Qui-Gon. He was even about to be sent to the Jedi Agricultural Corps, which is basically where any failed Padawan or youngling would be sent to if they were deemed not able to become a Jedi Knight.
Yep.
Interesting. And this is old. This is old EU.
This is in the EU, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was listening to a Disney era Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan novel. I forgot the name of it. But I was listening to it I was driving on a road trip and stuff, and I was listening to the audiobook for that. So okay, interesting.
But for people that are wondering, I came across as to what the various color schemes for Mandalorian armor means. So, when you see Mandalorian with gray armor, it means that they're mourning a lost love. When they're wearing red, when they have red on their armor, it means that they're honoring a parent. When they have black armor, it's representing justice. Gold means vengeance. Green means duty. Blue means reliability. Orange means lust for life. And white means a new start. And so for Jango Fett's armor, he has blue and gray. So it means that he's mourning a lost love, which is his father figure, the man who raised him after his parents were killed, Jaster Mariel. And then blue means reliability. So, I mean, he is a reliable individual.
Well, Boba Fett's armor was that green or?
It's got green, it's got gold, it's got red. So it means that he is dutiful. It means that he is vengeful. So I guess kind of his view towards his father's death, and then a little bit of red on his visor, so it means that he's honoring his father.
Yep.
So all the various you can tell a lot about a Mandalorian by how he decorates himself, as well as the color of his armor, and that was something that was brought in by Karen Traviss whenever she would write about Mandalorians in either Republic Commando series or in any other series, any other books after, like in the the Legacy of the Force series that takes place after the Yuuzhan Vong invasion.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we talked about how I got into all this Star Wars stuff. No, it was just my dad. And I did just find a passion for it.
Yeah,
And,
same here. I mean, the reason why I got into it is because we didn't own it, or we didn't have it in the house. So and it was all over like the TV and stuff. Like there were toys everywhere. I mean, you see it. You can rent it, wherever, and then video games were popping out left and right and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I told you, like, as I said earlier, the playing the N64 games is what kind of got me into it. Because I don't know if you ever played the Super Star Wars or Super Empire, or Super Return of the Jedi, but those games are freaking hard as hell on Super Nintendo.
Oh, when I was young, me and my dad, we did grow up really poor, so we didn't have that much of stuff. But at some point, I did get my first, the original Xbox, and then we just bought all the Star Wars games that we could find.
I loved between my favorite games I've played. I love Shadows of the Empire. I love Jedi Outcast, the one that came out on GameCube. The two KOTOR games. Now KOTOR 1 I thought KOTOR 1 was great, and KOTOR 2 was so well written by Chris Avellone. I just wish that they didn't rush it, because the ending was crap.
And many years later, they came with SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic. And
I read that crappy Revan novel by Drew Karpyshyn and stuff.
I actually kind of like the Revan novel.
Revan is a good character.
I didn't like the way I just hate the way it ended.
Well, I mean, it had to set up for the events with the Revan arc, and
I didn't like that they killed the exile like that.
SWTOR, they just ruined the fucking story in SWTOR. But
well, I mean, they started taking more liberties with the Old Republic after Disney decanonized the EU.
Yeah, so I have a lot of things I can talk about when it comes to SWTOR, because I have played it for so many fucking years. I've spent way too much money on that game. But yesterday or the day before,
last week. It was last week.
Because
you and I were talking about it.
Yeah. So I removed the game SWTOR. I am not gonna play it anymore. Because I'm done with all the changes they have done to the SWTOR game, and
you're talking Old Republic when you say SWTOR, right?
Yeah,
Old Republic. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And it's the same thing that I have spent so many hours and so much money in the game, so much, and I just changed that. Your companions, it doesn't matter anymore. How much you have upgraded their suits or weapons or anything, that doesn't matter anymore. And now I've spent years building up the best suits and weapons and everything for my companions, right? Used a lot of real life money and got a lot of good shit. Doesn't matter anymore. They can basically be naked and be as strong as you, because nothing matters anymore there.
The games that I've played from Star Wars has been the Lego Star Wars games. Love those games. They're fun. The original Battlefront game, the Battlefront 2 that came out in 2005. Great games. Battlefront Elite Squadron, Battlefront Renegade Squadron, which tells the story of this elite group of rebel soldiers that Han recruited during the events of the trilogy. And then Elite Squadron is about a clone of a Jedi Knight from the Old Republic and his journey from the end of the Clone Wars to after Return of the Jedi, where he becomes a Jedi Master within Luke's Jedi Order. His name is X2. He had a clone brother named X1 who went the other direction and became basically a self-proclaimed Sith Lord. And actually, at the end of the game, the X1 kidnaps Luke, and so X2 goes after and kills X1 and frees Luke. And then Star Wars Empire at War, Empire at War 2, Star Wars Battleground, which is very much like Age of Empire. And also the Empire or the Revenge of the Sith video game.
Yeah. And other problem with SWTOR 2 now is that they are, becoming more of Disney Wars in a way with the new expansions and basing it more on that. And they just ruined another favorite character of mine, Darth Malgus, because apparently he's back again when I played the new expansion. And out of the blue, he's back after being dead for the God knows how many times.
I did like the I did really like the cutscenes. I haven't played Tor. I'm not an MMO person, but I did see like the cutscenes and stuff where like the attack on the Jedi council or the attack on the Jedi Temple was pretty cool. Where good. Malgus basically takes out I don't know, was that like the Grand Master or something, or
in that fight, and then he kills his own master because he's gonna be the ruler too. He's gonna be the
that was the one boss. Where they're taking on that one. What was he, a Zabrak or something? Jedi or something, or Eridonian. I forget which ones are which.
It's just so sad because
Zabrak is the Eridonian.
Yeah, but this one is sad because
Zabrak is just the species. Eridonia is the homeworld.
Yeah, I see. And the other sad part is like after it came with one expansion, I do love a lot of the characters in one of the expansions, but it was basically just playing Game of Thrones in space, and that became really boring. And the whole story and the whole story for your character and everything that you do, it feels so weird, because kind of you become one of the most powerful fucking Sith or Jedi or what the fuck you want to call yourself at that point. Because you can take over the universe basically to become the new emperor of that galaxy, and it's like it is so weird. It is so stupid. And
so does anyone else have anything they want to share? Punk Waddle, Austin, Eddie, like the Star Wars games, any supplemental Star Wars stuff that you guys really like?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Revan story. Because it expands way better than the Skywalker saga, and pretty much all the the Revan lineage, and then certainly like the Bastila Shan, when I went from Satele all the way down to Vaynor. It's just it just tells like a way better story than
I can see that.
the Skywalker.
About you, Punk Waddle?
I only really read some of the main books. I was reading a lot more of, like I said, the other sci-fi and fantasy stuff like we mentioned earlier. But I did make sure to get me the Count Dooku and the Darth Maul lightsaber toys because I thought they were so cool.
Yeah, I like the Dooku as the curved, that nice little curved hilt.
Yes.
Or not hilt. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Okay. My brother had lightsabers. I never had any lightsabers myself.
Oh, I'm gonna get some lightsabers at some point when I get the money for it. I'm gonna buy all my favorite lightsabers.
I hear they're not cheap. Like they're super expensive.
And it really depends.
I think I'm gonna go myself to third parties instead of trying to go to buy the official ones at Disney.
The thing I will do is that I really like Saberforge, for example, because you can also customize your own lightsabers. But the lightsabers they have there, and of course they can't use the legal names to the lightsabers to the characters. But when you find Anakin's lightsaber, Luke's lightsaber, and all of the other lightsabers, and Count Dooku's lightsabers, etc., they look real. They're like so well made, and they look so fucking real compared to what you get from the stores and the Black Series and all the other stuff that Disney's now kind of producing. So a lot of the third parties are so much better, like Saberforge. But I'm gonna say this: I'm not the biggest fan of the person who runs Saberforge because I have things that I can't talk about. But because I have a friend who did work in Saberforge, a really great guy. He looks like Revan. He's a big Revan fan, and he looks like Revan, like his face and everything. He looks like Revan. It's really funny. But no, they have really good lightsabers and they look really well. And like you can get lightsabers to fight with, you can get lightsabers just to hang up, and you can go on customization and you can make your own lightsabers from scratch. You find all the parts you want, the sound you want, the length on the saber, and everything. They're like
Oh,
one of
wow.
the best. Yeah. They're one of the best. So I will do that at some point, and it's not cheap though, but to make it yourself. But it's still cheaper to make something that looks good and looks real and works better than the things you get from Disney, basically. If you know what I mean.
I mean, are they
Yeah,
made? Are
they're-
they made to like? Can you play? Can you like like fight with people and stuff? Or
Yeah,
are
yeah,
they easily?
you can
Or
make
do they
them to
easily
the-
break or something?
No, you can fight with them. They are
was an-
making stuff like that.
There was a video that came out last year, I do believe. Yeah, last year, where they compared the all of Anakin's original, or all of Anakin's lightsabers from various companies, and the worst was the one from Disney stores.
Yeah, it is so fucking bad, and the lighting on them works so bad, and the sound is so terrible. So if you are like buying from Disney, you just buy for the looks. You don't buy for the sound or the lights or whatever. You just buy for the looks. But it's
So what'd
way
you
too
get-
expensive.
So what did you guys think? So now they were talking about lightsabers. What did you guys think? When Force Awakens first dropped its trailer, and one of the first lightsabers you see is Anakin's lightsaber. The lightsaber that was supposed to be lost in Empire Strikes Back with Luke's right hand.
Don't you mean Rey's lightsaber?
I can say like this,
Yeah.
like, of course they're gonna use it. Of course they're gonna get that lightsaber back. Of course, because
Was it just brought
selling
back to
points.
say, hey, remember this? Remember
and-
this memberberry and stuff?
Yeah,
Even-
and you
I-
never get an
yeah.
explanation. You basically never get an
They
explanation.
don't
And
give a
I
proper explanation.
and I
think
have
they-
read, some
that-
books.
There's a
that they-
comic where like somebody literally, I think, catches the lightsaber.
picks it up. There is like someone who kind of gets it, and you basically don't know. I did read the journal things you can buy from Disney. I did read some of them, and when you get to to the Anakin / Luke's lightsaber, there are no explanations on how. It's just like a mystery how the lightsaber actually got found.
A story for another time.
Yeah, which they
Yep.
kind of just threw off someplace.
They found a hand
Became
though,
a story for no time.
and did cloning ish.
What were you saying, Austin? What were you saying?
Just saying it was a story for another time, but it became a story for never.
Yeah, that's my problem with a lot of current entertainment now. It's just it's like the Game of Thrones meeting. They kind of forgot, and so
No, I mean,
hence
they're trying. One of the things about J.J. Abrams that is becoming really annoying is that he loves his mystery boxes. So
Oh yeah, that's.
and then he forgets about the mysteries.
yeah,
Another thing with J.J.
and-
Abrams, he can't write stories. He's not original. He just steals stories, and that's always
Yeah.
how he's been.
and I
You
mean,
mean,
like
you mean they're
Ryan Johnson.
homages? You mean they're homages?
this is something
Look
that
at
this is something that someone pointed out on a Facebook post that in a group that makes fun of the prequels or the sequels, is that you have The Force Awakens. Great. Now all of a sudden my mind just went blank. I can't remember what the post said. So, give me a second here so I can hunt it down.
Let me interject while you do that. I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say the first season of Lost is enough, I guess, prequel to everything else of
Yeah,
rabbit trails and just what was the
Lost
smoke.
was a big missed opportunity to a lot of things.
Yeah, I when I first watched Lost, I binged it, so I kind of I didn't like watch it like weekly and stuff, so I kind of binged it, so most of like the the finer details kind of went over my head.
I
So-
just bought all the DVDs and just watched through them. And I'm gonna say I liked Lost until season 3, and then everything just went on the head, and everything just like, okay, it's done. This is fucking terrible.
I mean, you give that guy control of Star Trek and then Star Wars, and you kind of see the same sort of history
Yeah.
repeating.
Yep.
Star Trek. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I did like the.
We lost Chris.
where-
Hopefully
where-
he'll
where
come
the-
back.
So Star Trek, basically, I actually liked the movie when it first came out, but as you know, as time went on, I just I don't know. It's just like I started liking it less and less. Like it wasn't. They tried to make the characters different and stuff. So
I'm sharing the screen right now to show you some cool stuff.
all right.
So this is from Saberforge.
Ooh, wow, that looks nice.
So this is how they make their stuff, and it looks so good. That's the thing. They
You
look
sound like
amazing.
you just sounded like 3PO just now. Like this oil bath makes me feel so good, you know.
Yeah, but but it's just like so well made, and like when you go through the website here, you see all the cool, amazing sabers they are making.
Oh, they have a
Wow.
yellow. Is that a yellow right there?
Yeah, and then,
They
you know,
do.
they can't call it Maul, so they need to call it Mauler.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But look at this. You also have like these lightsabers. They make a lot of different lightsabers, and
Is that supposed to be round? That one right there on the that one.
yeah, it's gonna be like, you know, more classical one-handed stuff and swords. And you see, a lot of the cool things are like sold out a lot of times, but they have like so much cool shit here. Like even, you know, the katana style lightsaber.
Wow, you think that's going to be in freaking Visions? You know, katana style. You know.
Well, they did it first. These people did it a long time before that Star Wars anime thing.
So is there an umbrella lightsaber here?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not. But you can also, you know, make your own lightsabers, and they have things for gaming and other stuff. You can buy parts. You can whatever basically here.
So do you have to build these, or do they come as is?
This is pre-built
Okay.
for, you know, yeah. So when you get them, maybe you just need to put, you know, some parts on, but they are like already done and made for you, basically. So
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Those
so
are
I
way
recommend
nicer.
this.
I was gonna say those are way nicer than anything I have. So, and those prices aren't that bad either.
No, that's what I say. These prices you buy actually, those prices you buy something good.
So it was at like 150 to 200 or 300 or so. Is that what I'm seeing? 250. Wow, that's not
And
bad.
you have like different versions of, you know, the sabers.
Why are some more than others?
Because they're different builds. You know, some are bigger, smaller, and
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm gonna get this one, Qui-Gon Jinn's. I'm gonna get this one because I love Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber. So I'm so gonna get that. And no, so I do really recommend this. I have been watching this website for many years, and I knew someone who worked there before. So too bad he doesn't work there anymore, because then maybe I can get some, you know, a little bit cheaper
Discount? Oh, okay.
Yeah, a discount. And they have like, you know, the Hunter's Creed. Oh, so you can like see Boba Fett basically, or Revan and stuff like that. They have like different stuff like that.
Did Boba Fett ever use a lightsaber?
No, but they make like lightsabers to have the masks, and they kind of make some cool lightsabers for people who really want something unique.
Oh, okay, cool.
So you have like,
is that Dooku? Yeah, it's Dooku.
Yeah, that's a Dooku, and you have a different version that they made more. So you have like different version of them, and you can always buy new colors and whatever. You can decide yourself if you want more stuff and whatever. But yeah, they also make masks, and I think they also make like fighting gear to the sabers, like if
masks, like what, like the clone troopers, stormtroopers, Vader, Boba Fett, or Mandalorian, those type of masks you mean?
No, more for, you know, fighting. You know, if you're gonna have like a fight in martial arts with the sabers and stuff.
Oh, to protect your face and stuff.
Yeah,
kind of like a fencing.
Yeah,
those things that fencers wear.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. Oh man, so it's been an hour and 40. It's been almost an hour and 40 minutes. So, is there anything you guys want to promote, or anything you guys want to promote or talk about, or not talk about, but anything you guys want to talk, or things that you're looking forward to, or anything you want to promote? Like if you
Looking
have
forward
content
to-
or channels or stuff or any
Um,
projects you're doing that you're willing
well,
to talk about.
I am looking forward to the 18th in this month. I'm getting Memnock back on my channel, and we're going to talk about Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee, Ted Wong, martial arts, and some black metal again.
Oh, cool.
So, pretty excited for that. And
So
yeah, I think that
I love Bruce Lee. Like if you look at my banner and stuff, or
Yeah.
my little thumbnail, Bruce Lee
Yeah.
is one of the Blu-ray one of the collections I got. So
Memnock, you know, he was friends and he was trained by Ted Wong, and Ted Wong was one of Bruce Lee's best students. And also Memnock was really good. He was the best friend of Stefan Nikander from Sweden. And he was one of the best martial artists in Jeet Kune Do. And he was also a personal friend of Bruce Lee's family. So Memnock has a lot of people in his life who knew Bruce Lee, knew Brandon Lee, knows, you know, Bruce Lee's family and people that have been with Bruce Lee. And I love Bruce Lee myself and Brandon Lee, so it's gonna be really.
Yeah, Enter the Dragon is such a freaking awesome movie.
If you get the uncut version, yes.
The guy literally, yeah, like he's about to fight. And the guy with the scar, I forget his what's his name? O'Hara. He takes the board, like literally goes into Bruce Lee's face, takes the board and breaks it. And Bruce Lee just looks at him unfazed. He's like, "Boards don't hit back."
Yep.
And then after that, it's just a bloodbath. Like he just gets O'Hara just gets completely owned by Bruce Lee. Just gets smacked around. And then Bruce Lee just screams and jumps on his neck and breaks it with his feet and stuff. It was freaking. And then the rest, it was like basically the way they wrote that movie is there's a lot of Bond. Imagine an R-rated James Bond movie, and that's basically what you get. That's with martial arts.
Yep.
So
it's a really good movie, and so we're going to talk about, you know, a lot of stuff like that. So if people want to show up and, you know, ask questions about, you know, Bruce Lee and martial arts and stuff like that, you pop in with a lot of questions. And
I'm assuming it's going to be like, you know, what, midday your time or something, roughly, or maybe in the evening your time.
It's going to be around 18 or 19 Norwegian time.
So that'd be roughly around lunchtime for me. It's around noon, 12 o'clock.
I don't know so much about it, fucking time zones, because we all have some. But we will figure it out. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. And T-shirt Historian will be there, of course. So that's going to be cool. No, I don't have so much other things to promote at the moment, other than my company is going through some changes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's it basically. So it's not so much to talk about. This.
Okay, thanks, Jace. About you, Punk Waddle?
Well, I don't have a channel as of right now, and I've thought about it, but we'll see. But I'm popping up on, you know, all the chats and trying to work on maybe putting the Gunpla stuff on the Instagram and the Discord channels, and trying to at least put what I got out there. I did want to clarify about the Waddle and Punk Waddle. People always say it reminds them of a duck, but actually it kind of came from a penguin idea, waddling the llama. And my avatar, which I finally got up halfway through the stream, this is my second bass guitar that a friend told me when I was buying it. Said, "Hey, that looks kind of like a penguin."
It does look like a penguin with two heads. Well, actually, no, the neck and everything. Yeah.
So
Looks like Kinga.
a friend had a roll of the reflective tape that, you know, you see on trucks and stuff, and so I cut out a little bow tie and slapped it on, and that's That's my little punk waddle penguin because I listened to punk and ska, and that's what got me into playing music, which is kind of off
Punk and
topic. But
ska. Wow, that takes me back. I mean, I didn't really like it myself, but I had friends that really liked that stuff. So I hear this music again after like so many years. It just what's weird is it feels more nostalgic than older stuff because older stuff I generally listen. I like 80s and I like 70s and 80s music. So hearing punk and ska just makes me think of high school and stuff.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, we can talk about more of that another time. But that was kind of my nerddom fandom. But I always loved the comics and I loved the movies. So now that I'm older, getting to talk with you guys and learn what was good and go back and catch up has been really fun.
What comics? I've never gotten into comics. What comics do you really like?
I really like. Well, I learned to really like the Hulk. After a time, like I said, I didn't really read too much, but I liked some of the Marvel and the DC characters. It just all my
stuff
money
from like
was,
what the 90s era. Okay.
Yeah, and like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I didn't really get into the comics, but like
I actually want to read the comics. I heard like a lot of the original movie was based off of the original comic, I think.
I really just watched animated movies based on the comics and spent all my money on guitars and music and albums.
What's your favorite album? What's your favorite music album?
Oh God.
I know there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah. I think I might have to take notes and come back to that later.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Beatles album at least?
Well, Yesterday is just good. Yeah. Let's see.
The song Yesterday?
Yeah. Okay. My and well, I like the older era, so like I said, I'm blanking on albums because I'm just thinking of songs, but just the
interesting. I'm more of a fan of the later stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I meant to say just I actually like the later stuff, the chill stuff. We've gotten through the pep and the hype. Ironically, though, because after high school, when I stopped drinking all the Mountain Dew and listening to ska music, I kind of mellowed out too.
Yeah, mine's Abbey Road, by the way.
Nice.
I love the second half of the album. All the songs that segue into each other and stuff, from You Never Give Me Your Money to Sun King to frickin' Mean Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Golden Slumbers, Carry Your Weight, and then The End. And that's actually the final album that they worked on, technically. I mean, it's not the final album they released, so. All right, but thanks, Punk Waddle. About you, Austin. Thanks, Punk. Yeah, thanks, Punk Waddle. About you, Austin? You still around?
Yep, I'm still here.
So anything you want to promote? Anything you're looking forward to?
I don't have anything to promote. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to start with when I do channel stuff. I did just beat Arkham Origins again. I'm playing.
I never played that one. I've only played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and I actually prefer Arkham Asylum between the two.
I really do like Arkham Asylum. I like all of these games. The only thing that I think they're all good. I know Arkham Origins is not the favorite by most people, but I still like it a lot. And
I forget, like, they have a different act. They don't have Mark Hamill for the Joker, right? I think it's, what's his name? Troy Baker that plays the Joker in that one?
I think so, if I don't remember wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Joker was really cool in this one. The only thing, and they did Bane really well, I thought. The only thing that I don't like really is just, like, I don't like that criminals are everywhere in the city and there's no real people, because it makes sense in Arkham Asylum where it's like the asylum, or it makes sense in Arkham City where they have a section of the city marked up as a prison. But this is just supposed to be like normal Gotham Christmas Eve, and there's just only criminals out and they're everywhere. It's like, look, I know Gotham is a bad place, but this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess Gotham is a crappy place. I guess, especially after you watch the show Gotham. Have you guys ever seen the show Gotham on
Yep.
Fox?
Saw the whole thing.
But yeah, so I was replaying all those games because I got a good sale for the remasters, and that was a fun time. And then I found my, I didn't think I had my old copy of Arkham Origin, so I bought it on my PC when it was on sale for like $5-10, and then of course like a week after I buy it, I find my old copy. I'm like, oh great.
Were you playing on? You're playing on Xbox?
Yeah, I was playing on Xbox, and I have Arkham Knight as well. I have never actually played that one, so
I own it, and
messed up.
I played a little bit of it, and I just stopped.
Yeah,
So,
for me, the Arkham Knight is like it had potential, but it didn't feel like super Arkham game, and I get really tired of driving most of the time, and also it's basically a car game because you can drive so much.
yeah.
The only thing I remember that I know about Arkham Knight is that Batman murders people with his car, but pretends like he doesn't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the whole thing with Jason Todd being Arkham Knight, being the knight himself. It's like, oh, we have a new character. It's gonna be a surprise. Yeah, It's like,
So Jason
no.
Todd's in that one. In
Yeah,
Arkham.
he is Arkham. He is the Arkham Knight.
Is Nightwing in that one too? Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, you will have those characters. You also have like side games like DLCs with Tim Drake, Nightwing, Harley Quinn. So yeah.
Interesting. So okay. Anything else, Austin?
Nope, not really.
All right, well,
That's
cool.
pretty much it. Just playing games, chilling out.
What about you, Eddie? Anything you're looking forward to? How's your channel? Anything you want to promote for your channel?
Yeah, basically, what's going on with my channel is I have a little adventure planned as regards to next month. It'll be on my birthday, which is the 23rd of October. Whereby I explore the Montpellier house in Wicklow, said to be or otherwise known as the Hellfire Club, and it was of a tale of whereby there was a club known as the Hellfire Club. They were of the upper class, distinguished gentlemen, shall we say. I think there was a movie made back in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, whereby one of them, like they were into certain rituals, and they like to summon the devil. And, so it's a fairly interesting place, and I'd be looking forward to exploring it and letting you guys explore it with me for the very first time. So as I say, that on the 23rd of October, that'll be happening.
Cool.
It's cool, man.
It's a little creepy kind of story to it, and it's something exciting, and I hope I can share that with you.
Yeah, definitely do that. What about you, Chris? Anything you're looking forward to? Any projects or stuff?
Nothing much. Just besides the stuff that Jason and I do on his stream. Just the occasional reading here and there. Getting back into Destiny 2, which is kind of a bad thing because I became so obsessed back when it was like a year when I was originally playing it years ago. I played the game, the series for like 6 years straight, but trying to manage my time better with this one this time around. Don't
I
have as
see.
much time to spend on it as I used to.
Okay. Any movies, any shows or games that are coming out down the horizon that you're looking forward to?
Not really, unfortunately. There's really just not much that Hollywood is making that's really catching my eye. I'm more so going back and just looking at older stuff, though. I do plan on seeing that Malignant movie that's coming out next week. Or is it?
Malignant. Was that horror?
Yes, it's a horror movie. It looks kind of like a demonic possession related movie.
Okay.
It's made by James Wan, the guy who made the Conjuring movies.
Oh yeah, that
Insidious.
one. Yeah.
He also made Saw, didn't he? Him and Lee
yes,
Winnell.
yes, he did. And so this looks like it'll be I've just seen like you just see bits and pieces of in the trailers, so I'm hoping that that's gonna mean that there's gonna be more to the movie. So I'm just hopeful.
Okay, well that's cool.
Is that the one where Benedict Cumberbatch?
Is Benedict Cumberbatch in it?
Don't remember.
Okay.
I was going to add, because I forgot to mention this. I don't know if anyone here is Pokemon fan, but I'm very excited for Pokemon Legends Arceus. I am so hyped for that. That doesn't come out till January though, so I must wait.
I forget. Is that a single player game? Is that an online game? What kind of game is it?
That's single player. It's open world. It's basically Pokemon Breath of the Wild.
Oh, interesting. I got gripes about Breath of the Wild, but that's a story for another day. So
yeah, I've heard your gripes about that. I totally understand, but I think this is different just because
we have a whole world of Pokemon. I mean, that just sounds freaking exciting.
Right, and it's just very unique, and it's kind of like the open world aspect is very exciting, and I love open world games, and it's just very
yeah.
cool.
I mean, if it followed Breath of the Wild to the T, there'd only be like 6 or 7 Pokemon in the whole world.
Hopefully, it's not like that.
No, I'm sure it's not. So, but that sounds pretty cool. I might look into it myself and stuff. I kind of want to pick up the Pokemon Snap, the remake of Pokemon Snap. You ever played Pokemon Snap?
I have not played Pokemon Snap. I've heard of it.
You take pictures. You take pictures of Pokemon. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I remember that game.
All my favorite games are pretty much the spin-offs, so I love the spin-offs. I mean, not that I don't like the original Pokemon games. I still love those. I've put days into them. But like some of my favorite games is Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, Pokemon Ranger, and I've even heard about this one called Pokemon Conquest, which apparently like you're trying to defeat like a warlord.
Really?
Sounds so crazy. I didn't even heard of it, but my friend played and he says it's one of his favorites. So I gotta try and get my hands on that.
That's pretty cool, man. Definitely. I definitely want. I do want to stream a Pokemon game eventually. Trying to figure out which one that is. But now that we're approaching 2 hours, I think this is where we're gonna end the stream. Just like I'm gonna make a little announcement right now. I'm doing another stream later. I'm gonna do another chill stream tonight. I'm gonna be starting the game AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake. So it's gonna be part 1 of many parts because the game's probably gonna be a good 8 hours. So I'm gonna probably have to split into 2 or 3 parts. So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be at like 6 p.m. Central Time. And right now I'm still working on my Raiders of the Lost Ark review. I've been working on it for weeks. So hopefully I'll manage my time better and try to get out some stuff. And then I promised serial horror sessions, so I have to start getting out some horror movie things too, or some horror movie reviews out too for that. So I'm going to be pretty busy either between that or being on other people's streams and stuff. So that's where I'm at. So once again, I think this was pretty good. I think this was a pretty successful first stream for me on Streamyards. Nothing has went wrong so far, and we managed to keep the conversation going. So I appreciate all you guys for being here. Punk Waddle, Austin Dwyer, Chris, Jace, Eddie, and then Jake D and Brandon, also known as Gogo 13, who left prior. Thank you for making this panel great, and for everyone in the chat, I appreciate you coming by and being supportive. I want to do more of the stuff in the future. I obviously need to plan this. This was just a simple open mic meet and greet and stuff. Anybody could come on, whoever wanted to come on and stuff. So I want to do more stuff. I'll try to structure a little bit better in the future. And once again, stay nerdporeal, everyone. May the wings of Nerdporeals carry you to happiness. Take care.